Hello and welcome back to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, where of course we're giving you all the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion. We are back again today with another video. It's West Bromwich Albion versus Coventry City this Saturday, and we're doing a match day preview for the EFL Championship clash. As I said, it kicks off at the Hawthorns on Saturday at 3 o'clock. I'd love to say I'm looking forward to it. I am not, but of course, still looking to cover it in as much detail as possible as we can here on the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. We'll be going through some predicted lineups for both sides. We'll also be talking about what we can expect from the opposition, Coventry City, how they've been doing this season. We'll be talking about that, and also my general thoughts on West Bromwich Albion at the moment. Hopefully you enjoy a few little new graphics throughout the episode, and also the new thumbnail as well. As I said, I lost all my files on my old USB drive, so yeah, they're gone, but we're now back with different ones, and I've made some new ones up for you on the new drive. So yeah, let's crack on. Let's talk West Bromwich Albion, Coventry City. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Comment your score predictions and your thoughts ahead of the game. Maybe a predictive lineup if you've got one as well. And yeah, let's crack on. It's match preview time. You're watching the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. For match previews, match day vlogs, match reactions, and more, make sure to subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. So let's start with the opposition, and that is Coventry City, who currently sit 11th placed in the EFL Championships. They are 2 points above Albion at the moment, who are currently sat in 12th. They're 4 points off the playoffs, so yeah, I suppose in realism they are in a playoff hunt. I mean, it might just be a little bit of a stretch for them with only a few games of the season, with only 4 games left to go. But I think that's doable if you get your run of form together, and I'm sure that Mark Robins will be telling them that as they head into this. It's kind of a Midlands derby, I guess. Midlands rivalry, maybe. I don't know what you call it, but always known for me as the sort of Cyril Regis fixture. I remember we had a friendly to commemorate his life as well a couple of seasons ago, in 2018-19, before that season, as a pre-season friendly. But for me, it's always a sort of Cyril Regis fixture, of course, playing for Coventry as well as Albion, and doing so fantastically well for both clubs. So yeah, Coventry, they're managed by Mark Robins, formerly of Scunthorpe United, Huddersfield Town and Barnsley. Seen a few people on Twitter pining for him at Albion, which is an interesting call. Of course, Steve Bruce's future remains unresolved, and of course we'll chat about that in a little bit. But I just don't. I don't know. Is he another underdog manager who does really well when he's managing an underdog? I don't know. But yeah, we'll chat a little bit about the stats and see if they really are the underdogs in a lot of these games. But yeah, to be honest, they're doing really well for how they've done this season, and coming into the championship, and last season I think, and basically just causing the issues. They've done very well, and as I said, I've seen a few pining for him on Albion Twitter. Good manager though, but has worked with a really small budget at Coventry, and to have them in the playoff mix is a astounding achievement for Mark Robins and his side. And they've got some good scouting in there, and you look at some of the players that they've signed from different nationalities. They've done very well to pick up those players at those prices that they have. And yeah, I certainly think that Mark Robins is a very good manager, and will go on to do great things in the game. But yeah, their top scorer is Victor Gyökeres, who scored 15 goals, formerly of Brighton and Hove Albion. He's done very well this season. I think he's tailed off, like Coventry, I suppose, did around the December period. Like I think they did as a whole. I think they, speaking to a few Coventry fans, they had some injuries, some COVID. They were really caused issues by those. So yeah, for me, they're always looking on the up, and they're a good side. That's the best way I can put it for them. Yeah, I just think they've worked really hard and got into these good this playoff race. To do that is a fantastic achievement in itself. Victor Gyökeres with 15 goals. He's been very good and has proved himself in this division, and that's the same for Gustavo Hammer, who I absolutely love. I think there's no better way I can describe it, as he's a great player. 9 assists this season. He's done very well. He's worked very hard and proved himself again in the championship, and we were sniffing around him at the start of this summer, and we ended up with Malumbi. We ended up with Moa instead, and just think how things would be if we showed a lot more ambition in the market. He's a great player, great passer of the ball, but very tenacious in it. The perfect box-to-box midfielder. Callum O'Hare as well with 7 assists is a great little number. He's been pretty decent this season. Seen him linked to a couple of Premier League sides. Norwich, who probably are due to become a Championship side, has also been sniffing around him. Yeah, there's just some very good players in there, and as I said, the collective team spirit, as a lot of teams base themselves on in this division. There's a lot of teams that rely on that collective team spirit. How do they work together? They're cohesive, they're organised, and yeah, I just think Coventry are another one of those, but they do have a little bit of star quality up there as well. Matty Godden as well, I think, has got 12 goals this season up front, so they've got some a very good strike force, and doing very well with that as well. So. Yeah, hopefully you'll see some graphics down at the bottom of the screen. I've made you a little stat attack for each team now when we do these previews. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy that. Yeah, top scorer, as I said, Victor Jokeres, and top assister, Gustavo Hammer. The stats are second for shots on target per game. They have 4.9 shots on target per game, only bettered by Fulham in that category. They're fifth for average possession in the league, 53.3%. They're fifth for goals per game with fifth I think that's 1.3 goals per game as well, which is a pretty decent tally. They're very good going forward. Second for possession won in the final third as well. 229 times they've won possession in the final third this season, only just bettered by Albion themselves. I'm sure that heralds back to the failed Ishmael era where we tried to have a little bit of a press in probably those first 5 or 6 games. But yeah, they're predicted 11 goals as such. Simon Moore in goal. We've got Rose, Hyam and Bidwell across the back three. I thought Bidwell played for Swansea, to be honest. Todd Kane at right wing back, formerly of QPR. Yeah, I thought he was quite good during those days. But yeah, now in the Coventry City ranks. Left wing back Ian Matson, who's done very well on loan from Chelsea this season, a left wing back. You've got Allen in the midfield alongside Sheaf and, of course, Gustavo Hammer, with Callum O'Hare just behind Victor Jokeres. They're a good side, yeah, and they're going to provide some very nice, attractive football. But if you remember back to our last game, again, I think it's the Coventry Building Society Arena. Yeah, that we beat them. I think I won't say comfortably because they came back in the end and scored a couple of goals late on, but I think we beat them without lots of fuss, and I think that they played into our hands a little bit when they were playing out from the back, and I think Mark Run was a little bit stubborn with that. But yeah, there's Coventry for you. Looking forward to seeing how they can get on against us, really. I'm not really looking forward to how they get on against us because I do think they'll win. But 12th in the EFL Championship is West Bromwich Albion, 2 points below Coventry, 6 points off the playoffs, and the lowest goals scored in the top half is a little stat for you. Of course, we know our goal scoring ailments earlier in the season. Yeah, not great. We know that. Last time out, but it's versus Nottingham Forest, appalling display, completely caved in that game, and yeah, just a really disappointing performance. Really disappointing. I think that's the only way I can put it. Caving in after they let themselves down, really. Furlong let himself down by being a bit silly with that first challenge for me, putting that challenge in. So, yeah, I just think we completely caved in. 0 shots on target in that game. We had 1 shot, which was blocked by Grant after 5 minutes, so didn't even reach the goal. Just really disappointed performance. Yeah, lots of players losing their heads. Furlong, good class Gardner Hickman in that, although he's apologised for kicking the ball at the fans. He did apparently mean to hit the advertising hoardings, and he's a good lad, so I can believe that. Livermore losing his head, shoving the ref, getting in his face, nose to nose with him really at one point. Carlan Grant, as I said, poor attitude from him shown, calling Steve Bruce this and that as he comes off and is taken off. So yeah, I think Steve Bruce, that 11 that he started for that game did it for me. I think Alex Mowat we've now confirmed to be out for the rest of the season. Obviously, it's only the next 3 or 4 games, so that's not really an issue. We're coming to the end of this season anyhow, but I think it's it's disgraceful how he even played on Monday, because he was out for the Blackpool game with an injury, then came back for about 50 minutes against Forest. So yeah, I just think Alex Mowat, I just didn't get that decision, didn't get Bartley coming back into the side, and I think Bartley proved him wrong really with his performance, with another dismal performance at the back. I think he's one that has to go this summer. I think Semi Ajayi being dropped as well was a baffling one, but they don't respect Steve Bruce. I think that's the key thing. They don't seem to respect many of the managers, and that's why the players have to go as well. I think it's about time we pressed the reset button. We got rid of Bruce, we brought in another manager. But yeah, I don't think Steve Bruce is anywhere near the one for the rebuild, and that's why I don't think he should be in charge. I think that lineup has done it for me. 4-0 against Nottingham Forest. It's embarrassing. They're a good side, but not that good to be beaten. A side I'd consider to have good quality in it, Albion. I think we do have quality in there. Just the mentality application is all missing from this group of players. But yeah, the predicted 11 is as follows. In goal, David Button, I think, is going to start. Thought he came out with some credit against Nottingham Forest. Although I would like to see Palmer maybe start for the last couple of games of the season. Shemi Ajayi, Dara O'Shea and Matt Clark across the back. I'd love to see Ethan Ingram come in that right wing-back spot. I think he'll do a really nice job. Obviously, Furlong's suspended now. I think Gardner-Hickman has to stay in midfield, so I think Ingram should come in. Malumbi, Livermore and Gardner-Hickman across the midfield, with Connor Townsend at left wing-back. Andy Carroll and Karlan Grant up front. Yeah, that's probably the best one I can think of. I'd like to see Ingram given a go. I'm not sure he will, but I'd like to see him given the chance. Yeah, drop your score predictions down below. Mine will be a 1-1 draw at home. I think that's probably what I'm going to go for. Drop your score predictions down below. Subscribe if you're new. But that does bring me to the end of this Baggies Podcast match preview. Hope you enjoyed the game, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.